MJ, thank you so much for joining us with your fancy background and your fancy little setup for for Exquisite Conversations. For the people who don't know who you are, because you are a person of very many talents, very talented person. Tell us who you are. We clearly see your logo. What is Swagg Visual Media? Tell us about it.
Well, Kim, Swagg Visual Media is a love of mine. It just started with photography. Um, I always loved the fact of how you were able to steal a moment in time and capture it with the photo. Um, but fortunately, when I went to school, they put me in the wrong program, and I became interested in videography. So K-Swag Visual Medias is a combination of that. It's still growing. Um, Plenty of things that I plan on doing with it. Some things I can't speak about just yet. But our next venture is to actually find a building that we will actually be having a studio in. Um, you know, and it's just to make people's visions come true, bring it to a reality, and have fun doing it.
Yes, we can definitely tell that you are having a blast. So, we live in a very digital age now, as I'm pretty sure you already know, and you already, I'm seeing all of your technology all over the place. So you always talking about rebuilding something or breaking something and doing it over again. So how does Quick K Swag Visual Media, and how do you, as a professional, as someone who is well versed on the photography side and the videography side, how do you keep up with the constant changes of the industry? Like, because every day I'm sure there's a new technique, or there's a new photography method, or there's a new videography technique or something that there is to learn. So talk about that.
I don't really try to keep up anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good to be able to keep up. But in my opinion, if you can do whatever it is that you need to do with what you have, when the time comes for you to step up, the only thing it does is it just increases your quality. You know, um, to me, the only thing I've really tried to keep up with is just to keep computers. Um, like I said, I just built this one that we're using now. I love it. I'm not done with it. You know, it is a gaming computer, which runs price wise about the same thing that you would spend for a Mac, but faster processor, more memory, more RAM, which is great for video production when you got to render out something. And I mean, it just moves so much faster. It doesn't take 5 minutes to reset, it takes less than a minute, and I'm right back on it.
Okay. Well, awesome. And I know that you do so much when it comes to the visual media side of things. And I know you said when you got into school, they put you in the videography uh, program by accident. I don't know how something like that happens, but but we're gonna blame it on the school. So what's your preference? What do you like to do more than the other? Because I know you have like a treasure trove of photos and photography work that you've done, and you've been doing photography for a very long time. So what do you prefer more? Is it the videography, more tech savvy side, or do you just love like being able to get out there with your camera and just snap some good old pictures?
I love photography, every aspect of it, including the editing. I mean, some people are like, well, I love to shoot, but I hate to edit it. I'm like, you get to
Me.
take the fucking creation and make it better. Videography is nice. I've shot a skit. Shout out to Bianchi for allowing me to do that. And it's great. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I enjoy interacting with people, but photography is just to me a whole nother high. you know no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what's going on, to know that I could just go out with one of my cameras and shoot just takes everything away. All the pressures of the world, the stress. It's like, hey, let's just have some fun with it.
Okay. So, you mentioned Beyond did I say it right? Bianchi,
Yeah,
their
be
name? Okay. Because every time I see it, I want to pronounce it a different way. But then it's like I hear people say it and I'm like, okay, I was gonna say it wrong. So, you work with so many different brands, and I know we were just talking about how you are, you're doing acting, modeling, all these other things, and you work with so many different other local brands and regional brands in different capacities. What is, for someone like you that is so well versed and talented, how do you decide, like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is who I'm going to work with? How do you kind of like filter through that? Because I know you probably get questions, inquiries, people that want to work with you all the time. How do you decide, like, okay, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do this for this person? So yeah.
or just whatever fits on my schedule. First come, first serve basis. I'm not gonna turn one person down over another just because of who they are or anything I may have heard. It's like, hey, everybody has downfalls. We all have pros. We all have cons. So it's like, hey, you got to work with people and actually, get to know them before you can distinguish whether that's somebody you can rock with and build with versus taking somebody else's word or never even giving that person a chance. And I mean, there's people who I've worked with in the past, and I just haven't had the opportunity to get back with them with everything that's been going on with COVID and personal work and everything. Um, but I mean, in my opinion, there's too many millionaires in our area in Charleston that they don't even realize they're millionaires only because they're doing everything by themselves. Charleston needs to grow together and learn how to, you know, compromise with this. Like that's just like with as many photographers and videographers that are in the state. Charleston could be number one in the world if they just came together and just grow and take over.
I definitely agree with you on that. And especially having had my business as long as I've had it, is definitely one of those things like, Lord, when y'all people gonna get it together? Like, when are we just gonna understand that we do better when we help each other and when we can lean on each other versus trying to go against each other? I think that's why there's always such a popularity contest in Charleston so much. But I like and I appreciate the fact that you try to be so far away from that, but still a part of the competition, but so far away from the popularity aspect of it when it comes to trying to compete for likes and all this other stuff. You just create what it is that you feel is you know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely can appreciate that when I see it. So you did mention COVID. I've been asking everybody this question just because I like to see how we're all surviving. But how has, this has been totally new territory for us all, and I can see, with your live videos and, just who you are as a person, like you're constantly looking for ways to grow, looking for ways to challenge yourself. So how has COVID been for you? How have you been surviving? How have you been, staying active as a business and staying in front of people?
Well, funny thing about it, to me, I think COVID has actually been a blessing to me. I've done some. Yeah, it is funny. I mean, the government kicked out extra money. Even when it came to unemployment, yeah, I lost my job that I've had for 4 years, but that allowed me to benefit from the extra money that the government sent out. That allowed me to be able to refinance my home, pay off a lot of debt, you know, and to me that's one of the biggest things in America that, not to make it a race thing, but as black people we mess up at, is because we allow our debt to drown us no matter what we do, as long as we got that debt. it just overtakes it overshadows us. So to me, COVID has been good. It's given me time to clear my mind and clear clutter and focus. Go through equipment that I no longer use or no longer need. Um, Work on some music and just get things out. A little bit of poetry. So COVID to me,
Something else you're doing.
I mean, I was supposed to already have done my poetry. I told my sisters Georgia and Sarah last year. I promise I'm gonna get on this stage in 2020 and I'm gonna do a poem. Well, 2020 is almost over, and I haven't got it out there yet, but I'm gonna need to because I am a man of my word. So I'm gonna have to get with them sometime in this month of December and get up on stage and perform whichever piece I decide to perform.
Okay. Well, I again, you just continue to just amaze me because I didn't know about the poetry thing. And speaking of poetry, I know you also you are getting into the acting side of thing. You mentioned modeling. Where's all the stuff coming from? Like, has this all just been in the cut, just waiting? Like, hold on, let me get my visual media stuff straight, and then I'm gonna come for the rest of y'all. So, but and then I know acting seemed to be kind of like the first thing that I saw you kind of doing. So, how did those opportunities even come to you?
Well, I mean, acting it really just came on a whim. I looked on Facebook. Felicia Rivers with Geechee One was like, I need an extra. I'm like, hey, I'll come. And I ain't gotta say nothing. I could just stand there and be mad. And I stuck around for the shooting of the next film, and somebody didn't show up, and I got a part that I had to speak on, and people told me they enjoyed it, and ever since then I just kept running with it. I mean, I just really look at every aspect that might fall underneath visual media, from the modeling, which I'm still kind of weighing the options on that. I might do it just a little bit, but nothing major. But acting, and it's all networking. I never know who I'm gonna meet on set, how we can continue and try to bring back the barter system where everything is not always about money. You know, um, as you know, I even lowered the prices for our shoots for our models with that. Um, but just trying to actually build. I don't want to be that one guy who had a business and it was only him who was known for it. I want to build an empire of my brothers and sisters. And when I say brothers and sisters, I mean all different races just flourishing and making America great again.
See, now we can take that term back and we can actually make it something positive now, you know.
For once.
I was just thinking about that because it's not a bad term. It's just like the person that started it is what made it so negative, and him and his followers, turned it into something ugly. But I feel like now, we'll say after inauguration. After inauguration, then we can take it back and do our own thing with it.
I should start now with it. We ain't gotta wait for the inauguration. If we want to make America great, it starts now, and it starts with us. One person at a time, one step at a time, building each other up, sharing each other's stuff, telling the world, hey, this person's doing that, this person's doing that, and realizing that it's not a competition. For the most part, most of us are small business owners. We're not a corporation. So it's really not competition unless that's what you make it. When it really should be partnership.
It's very, very true.
That should be the term for 2021, partnership.
Yes, I like that. I've been having so many similar conversations. It's just that just kind of like paired up with everything else I had already been thinking. So So you just adding stuff into my brain. Um, so what I was gonna ask you, as a of course, as a male entrepreneur, there aren't really, and maybe I'm wrong, there aren't, I see so many, I see more female entrepreneurs that are out here killing it, they're on it, blah, 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 but it's nice to be able to see a male entrepreneur that is keeping up with the women. And that's not an insult to men. It's just, I think men go about business and small business and things like that in different ways than women do. And I'm pretty sure you've worked with, because you called a couple of different names of women, powerful and influential women in Charleston that have their own brands, have their own businesses. As a man, how does it feel to be able to work amongst such like powerful women, in a sense, like women that are like, they ain't depending on nobody, they out here, they doing it. I think about people like Felicia and Sarah and Georgia. They are like killing it, they're on it, they're like going with the flow, doing what it is that they have to do to pursue their dreams, just like how you are. So how does it feel to be able to work amongst like people like that?
I love it. I mean, I was raised by a single mother, so to see strong black independent women not letting society tell them what they can't do is just more motivation for me. And to be able to work beside these women is just more of a push to say, hey, I can't sit around just because COVID's happening. It's always something that can be done to benefit your business. That's just like Sarah is not. She's a designer. She says I am not a model, but
Even though
Sarah
she
knows
could be one. Shout
every
out to Sarah.
opportunity that I get. She knows I am trying to make her the model every single time. Got It's just too many powerful women in our area in the world. I mean, lately I've been talking with other owners that are in Texas and Tennessee, Georgia, uh, just all over, because sometimes you can't find somebody to match your drive locally, and unfortunately you have to go outside of your comfort zone. So I mean, I've seen people do it all the way to clothing lines. you know Shout out to my boy Jay Gatsby with his. It's like I've surrounded myself with people who have the drive to say this is what I want, and there's nothing on God's green earth that can stop me except for me. And they're going for it. And I applaud all of them. I applaud everybody who's made it through COVID, however they've made it. I judge not. Don't judge me.
Yes, shout out to all those businesses that are doing the best that they can right now. We see you, we appreciate you, and we applaud you, because it's definitely new territory we're all in. And I can definitely attest to it as well. And coming across so many other small businesses that ask me for advice, I'm like, child, I don't know. So just to kind of wrap things up, what is a piece of advice, as a male entrepreneur, as someone who has as much experience, and you've worked with such a diverse crowd of people, doing so many different things, wearing so many different hats? What's one of the biggest lessons that you think you've learned? And what's a big piece of advice you would give to someone that's trying to, I'll say, reach your level of comfort to where they're just like, I'm going to do me, and damn it, that's what the hell I'm gonna do.
I guess the advice that I would probably give is never stop learning. It's always something more you can learn about your craft, no matter how good you think you are. You know, and don't beat yourself up. You know, they say you are always going to be your worst critic. Accept that. People are going to love your work, even though in your heart and your mind you feel that you could have done 100 times better. You know, and that goes hand in hand with learning. There's thousands and probably millions and trillions of videos on YouTube teaching any and everything people want to learn. You know, if you want to learn something, go for it. You know, I got equipment that I said I was going to try and do something with that I have yet to do anything with, including heat presses and hundreds of dollars worth of vinyl. And it's like,
I'm sure you'll find a way to make it into something else, like a new invention or something.
it is actually going to another business, um, which they're going to be doing. They're starting right now with with custom glasses and everything. Shout out to
Okay.
Creations, and it's going to branch off to more. It's too many business owners out there that I support and rock with that I can't name them all. I got a brother who's now starting a whole nother production as far as shirts and socks and everything else. I won't put his business out there and how to do it, but when it's something to look for, and that's something that I will be supporting. And I'm thinking about adding that to my page for those other businesses that I support, so they can always know that they're being loved and supported back. So
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, MJ, I definitely appreciate your time, your wisdom, and just your expertise and everything that you're doing. Again, I applaud individuals like yourself that are always looking for ways to be able to challenge themselves, to be able to raise the bar. I think the low country, and I think just Black entrepreneurship in general needs that, when it comes to just always be having that reminder of, you can always be doing something. You don't just have to be doing what you're doing, but you can always be doing something. So tell the people how they can book you, how they can find you, how they can buy your stuff.
let's see. You can find us on Facebook, Swagg Visual Media. You can find us at our website at kswagvisualmedia.com. You can find us on Instagram as Swagg Inc. INC. Snapchat as well, Swagg Inc. INC. That's SWAGGINC. You can email us at swagginc86@gmail.com, or you can reach us by phone at 843-534-7951.
Whoop, whoop. Well,
I
and
PO box, but ain't nobody really writing no letters
yeah,
right
ain't
now.
nobody writing no letter. Well, MJ, I definitely appreciate your time. This has been another awesome episode of Exquisite Conversations. Go and book MJ and give him all your money.